Why is it that among the 8 ancient clans in battle through the heavens, the Soul Clan's Dou Di Bloodline not only survived the ages, but became even more powerful, while the bloodlines of the other clans gradually withered away? And why, of all things, was the Dou Di bloodline of the Xiao Clan, Xiao Yan's own bloodline, completely abandoned? What secret buried in the depths of ancient history explains this shocking disparity? To understand this, we must first revisit what made the ancient races so powerful to begin with. The 8 ancient clans were once the pillars of strength in the Dou continent, all blessed with the mighty Dou Di bloodline. This bloodline, passed down from the great Dou emperors themselves, was a divine inheritance, imbuing their descendants with immense talent and cultivation potential. But as the ages passed, no new Dou Di were born, and the bloodlines began to thin. Generation by generation, without renewal, the divine blood slowly weakened. Most clans saw their bloodline power decline, becoming but shadows of their former glory. Eventually, only the 8 ancient clans remained, clinging to the last vestiges of Dou Di power. The Xiao Clan, once proud and mighty, had its Dou Di bloodline completely abandoned. But in stark contrast, the Soul Clan's bloodline didn't diminish at all. In fact, it became even more formidable. Why? The answer lies in the dark history of 2 terrifying forces: the Void Devouring Flame and a mysterious ancient race known as the Soul Devouring Clan. The Soul Devouring Clan wasn't native to the Dou continent. Born in ancient times, it likely descended from weaker, foreign evil races that broke away from other dark forces in the vast universe. Once they arrived, they settled, reproduced, and began to wreak havoc across the land. Their power came from a unique, terrifying ability. They could devour the bloodlines of others. They targeted the powerful Dou Di bloodlines, absorbing their strength to enhance their own. By preying on ancient families, they quickly rose in power, slaughtering entire clans and stealing their divine blood. This didn't go unnoticed. The other ancient families, enraged by the slaughter and the threat to their own survival, banded together when the Soul Devouring Clan finally dared to target the Soul Clan itself. This sparked a massive war, a battle of survival between the ancient races and the bloodline-thieving invaders. The conflict was devastating. Countless were killed. But in the end, the Soul Devouring Clan was annihilated. Its patriarch, the infamous Soul Devouring King, was slain by none other than the Soul Clan. And yet, this victory planted the seed for the Soul Clan's future dominance. Because after this, the Soul Clan made a secret pact with the Void Devouring Flame, a legendary heavenly flame with insatiable hunger and monstrous potential. They fed the dead body of the Soul Devouring King to the Void Devouring Flame, and in doing so, gave it access to the Soul Devouring Clan's blood-devouring ability. It was a game changer. The Void Devouring Flame now possessed the same power to devour and convert the bloodlines of other ancient races. With this, the Soul Clan launched a secret plan that spanned 10,000 years. The goal? Sustain and strengthen their Dou Di bloodline. Even as others faded, the Void Devouring Flame acted as the silent executor of this plan, devouring ancient clans with near-depleted bloodlines, refining their power, and converting it into fresh vitality for the next generations of the Soul Clan. The result? A near-infinite stream of bloodline power for the Soul Clan. While others waned, they waxed stronger. As centuries passed, their ambitions grew. They no longer sought survival, they sought dominance. Then came a turning point, the emergence of the Tuoshe Ancient Emperor's Cave Mansion. This sacred place sparked a brutal conflict among the ancient clans. And by the end, the Tuoshe Ancient Emperor Jade was split into 8 fragments. This event was pivotal because Emperor Hun Tian of the Soul Clan began preparing his 1,000-year plan shortly afterward. When Xiao Yan's ancestor, made a final, desperate bid to reach the Dou Di level, he failed and was severely wounded. Emperor Hun Tian seized this moment, attempting to steal the ancient jade from the Xiao Clan. But Xiao Yan wasn't done yet. In a last stand, he detonated 3 different heavenly flames. The blast annihilated many Soul Clan experts, nearly killed Hun Tian, and left Xiao Yan critically wounded. The Soul Clan failed to obtain the ancient jade, and lost heavily in the process. Xiao Yan ultimately died, but the cost to the Soul Clan was immense. To regroup and continue their long-term strategy, they formed the Soul Palace, a shadowy organization that expanded across the Dou continent. Their mission? Harvest souls. By gathering soul bodies and extracting their essence, they strengthened the Void Devouring Flame, raising its soul power to the level of the Dou Di realm. Once this goal was achieved, the Soul Clan's final plan began. One by one, the remaining ancient clans fell. The Stone Clan and Spirit Clan were the first to be destroyed. Their bloodlines were absorbed into the Soul Clan. By now, after thousands of years of integration and devouring, most members of the Soul Clan were actually descendants of the Void Devouring Flame itself. In essence, the Soul Clan had transformed into a new version of the Soul Devouring Clan, the very race they once destroyed. When the Medicine Clan fell, the Soul Clan's actions could no longer be hidden. The surviving three ancient clans formed an alliance, seeking to stop the Soul Clan's rise. But it was too late. Emperor Hun Tian personally appeared at the ancient clan, creating a diversion. In the chaos, the Soul Clan made their final move, seizing the last pieces of the Tuoshe ancient jade. With the jade in their hands, the ancient emperor's cave was opened. Hun Tian entered, obtained the emperor's young pill, and began his ascension to become a Dou Di. Victory seemed within reach for the Soul Clan, but fate had other plans. In a twist of irony, the very Void Devouring Flame they had relied on betrayed them. Secretly, it had left behind a backup plan, one that would ultimately assist Xiao Yan in becoming the next Dou Emperor. The Void Devouring Flame had worked diligently for the Soul Clan for 1,000 years, believing that if Hun Tian ever turned on him, there might still be a way out. But in the end, it was Xiao Yan who intercepted the Heavenly Flame Array, disrupting the Soul Clan's plan at the most critical moment. Everything the Void Devouring Flame had done, his centuries of effort, was for nothing. He received no reward. In the end, he was refined by Hun Tian himself, used, betrayed, and discarded. His tragic end became the final footnote in a long, bloody legacy. As for Emperor Hun Tian, he was ultimately sealed by Xiao Yan. And just like that, the mighty Soul Clan, who had once dared to challenge the heavens, who had devoured bloodlines and plotted for millennia, was erased from the Dou continent. From devouring ancient bloodlines to forging a 10,000-year plan, they stood at the peak of power. But in the end, betrayal, ambition, and karma caught up with them. The very flames they nurtured became the spark of their downfall. And the soul they tried to crush, Xiao Yan, rose to become the Dou Di they never expected. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Battle Through the Heavens lore, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another tale from the Dou continent. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was the Soul Clan's downfall deserved or just tragic? Thanks for watching. Until next time, cultivate your strength and defy your fate.